Hey, well, getting into flow. That's what I want to talk about this morning. Getting into flow it's kind of this elusive, magical thing that we aspire to as creatives and healers and entrepreneurs and pretty much just human beings. Being in flow is such a powerful place to be. It's another way of talking about being in alignment. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and I've got a kind of like the story I want to share is the way a tree allowed me to see the how easy it is to get into flow. So that's what today's topic is all about. I'm Kylie Ansett. I am the Alignment Whisperer, and my goal, my desire, my passion is helping you get into alignment with your inner wisdom so that you can be existing with purpose and living a life with purpose. So that's what I'm all about, and I'm coming to you from beautiful Sydney, Australia, and this is your daily dose of alignment. Okay, so what is this thing, this flow state? I think we know it when we're in it, but we don't always know how to access it or how to actively switch it on. And when you understand not only what it is, but how to turn it on at will when you need it, how to get into flow and access that state. When you know that, it's incredibly powerful, because when you're in flow, things just flow. Yeah, obviously. But you also have access to a part of your brain that when you're not in flow, you don't have access to. And that's the part of your brain that is kind of where all the synapses are on fire, where you are just coming up with thoughts that you like, where did that come from? I don't even know how I thought of something so brilliant. I didn't know I had that brilliance inside of me. That kind of feeling. Not only the creativity is just pouring forth, but it's happening very easily. There's no effort. It is effortless, and effortless creativity. That's kind of like why that word flow describes it so perfectly, because you are flowing. It's like I remember there's a beautiful creek nearby here, and it's a really long creek. It starts up in the mountains, and there's national park all around it. So there's no houses or like farms or anything like that. It's just like nature, and up in the top of the mountains, like, you can't even access it. But further down, which is where we go to go swimming, and we would go there every summer, and it's absolutely clean. It's like crystal clear, because it comes from the mountains where there's nothing around. And it's also it's quite a shallow, like probably the deepest would be like maybe up to the top of your legs or something like that, but a lot of it's around knee depth. And we would take our lilos, and we would walk up this creek, and walk and walk and walk for miles and miles, like just go for like the half a day just walking. We'd have our inflatable like kind of lilos, right? I don't even know, like, yeah, anyway, those things that you can lie on, that you blow up, that you can lie on. And we'd just drag them up, walk and walk and walk as far as we could up the creek. And then you'd get to a certain point where it was so shallow, it was just like ankle deep. And that's where you just lay yourself down on the inflatable, and I would shut my eyes. I'd put a hat on, I'd cover myself with like a sarong, and I'd lie on the top of this thing, and I'd just let it go, and I'd shut my eyes and it would it might have taken 3 hours to walk up the creek, and it might take half an hour or something like that to flow down it. That's how I see flow. It's completely effortless, but it did take some preparation to get there. Like, I had to get to the top of the creek. I had to have my inflatable with me, and then I had to trust when it was time to get onto that inflatable, that Lilo, and I had to trust and let go. And that was actually almost as much. It's not always natural to just let go, because you'd think, well, I don't know, I might run into the bushes, or there might be something scary going on. And so just shutting your eyes and letting go and allow and trusting is as much of the process of flow as anything else. And when you don't do that, you kind of dig your heels in, immediately the flow stops. So getting into flow is not only about preparing yourself, but it's about allowing. It's about allowing yourself. Now, that creek that I used to travel on, oh my goodness, it was quite. I haven't been there in a couple of years. It's a really spectacular place, Colo Creek. It's just around here, maybe an hour's drive away. So I need to get there this summer. So being in flow is where magic happens, and it feels like magic because you're accessing parts of your brain that, if you aren't in that state, you are closed down to them. You actually don't have access to those states. They're always there, but you're closed off to them because either you're bringing resistance to. So, for example, if it's around, say, solving a problem, if you're focused on the problem, then there's resistance, and that stops the flow straight away. It's like digging your heels into that creek. If it's about creativity, right? Say you want to write something or paint something, or I don't know, create some music or something creative. Even just like anything that you're accessing the creative part of your brain. Now, if you are forcing that, or if there's any stress around that process, again, you're bringing resistance to it, and it shuts down the access to those other parts of your brain. So there's so many things that we think we need to do that if we don't, if we're not, that are actually counterintuitive to the state of flow. So now that doesn't mean that you just like say, if I just want to flow down the creek, but I'm not actually I'm not getting to the creek, and I'm not walking upstream for 3 hours. Like, you still have to put yourself in the place where flow is going to happen. But then once you've done that, you then let go and allow. And sometimes you allow yourself to go into the bushes or to hit the side of the creek or whatever. Like, all of those things are possible. And it's allowing yourself to make mistakes as much as anything else. It's allowing yourself not to be perfect. That is part of accessing this flow state. Now, I wanted to tell you the story about a tree. This has been a lot of stories about nature, but I've got this tree outside my window, and every single time this time of year, what starts to happen is this tree starts to put out tiny little leaflets. So in winter, it drops all its leaves and it's completely bare. It allows all the sunshine to come in through my window, but it almost looks like it's a dead tree. I mean, you know what I'm talking about here. We're talking about an autumn tree. It's a gold. I think it's a golden elm. It might be a robinia, but anyway. This time of year, so here in Australia, this time of year right now we're just coming into spring. We've just gone through the spring equinox. That was actually the day before yesterday, the spring equinox, which is where the days are equal in length. And now the days are getting longer in length than equinox. The days and nights are equal in length. Yeah, that's right. Now we're actually entering into where the days are starting to become longer than the nights. So we're past the spring equinox. And this tree, for probably the last week, these little tiny yellow-green buds have started sprouting out on the end of all the dead sticks. And one year I actually photographed this. It was amazing. Every day I would set the camera up in the exact same position and I'd take a photograph from the dead sticks through the maybe 1 month or so period that it took to go from dead sticks to tiny little yellowy green shoots to tiny little bright lime green leaves to great big lime green leaves. So it's quite a beautiful process. But the thing is that I just know every year that's going to happen. I don't have to do anything about it. I don't have to water the tree. I don't have to pray for it. I don't have to say affirmations that the leaves are going to come out again this year. I don't have to do anything. I just have to trust and know that this is the cycle. This is the way it's going to keep moving. This is the way that life is going to sort of continue on. Now, I was thinking about this beautiful tree and how just every year it just goes through, it's like breathing. It just breathes in and then it breathes out, and then it breathes in and then it loses all its leaves and it breathes out, and then on it goes. And we think that we need to do something to access this state of flow. Now, I spoke about walking up the creek and getting yourself in the right environment, but the actual state of flow is effortless. It's like that tree. It's like breathing in and breathing out. It's completely natural, and the only thing that stops it is when you step in the way. So our natural state is in a state of flow. That's what's natural for us. All the stuff we put in the way, that's the unnatural stuff. The stuff that blocks the flow, that's what we are not, that's when we're not allowing our brain synapses to connect in the way that they want to. We're saying, oh, somebody wouldn't approve of this, or this doesn't seem right, or nobody else is doing this, or whatever it is that our self-editing, self-judgment comes in. As an author, I know that there's a massive mistake that people make when they self-edit, or when they edit their writing while they're writing, because what they're doing is they're closing down the creativity right in the process of the creativity, and it kills your ability to make something beautiful. It kills the creative spirit. It kills the muse right there, dead in the water. Kills them. It's like digging your heels in as you're flowing down the creek. It's like I don't know, like the tree. It's like not allowing the tree to do what it's just naturally meant to do. So my message to you is that it does not take effort to be in flow. It is effortless, and we are the ones that are putting the blocks there through our own preconceptions about what something should be, because what flow is for you is not the same as what it is for me, and how I access my state of flow is not going to be the same as for you or for the next person. You don't follow a system. There's no process. It's just an allowing, a believing, a trusting. It's moving into that space with complete inner faith, inner belief. And that's kind of the work that I do when I work one-on-one with people. It's all about them accessing their inner power, because each and every one of us has that beautiful, pure inner wisdom. We all have it, but so rarely do we access it. So rarely do we truly trust it. We're always looking for confirmation from outside that, is this right? Or maybe I need to get this certification, or if that person ticks off on it, or if I copy what they're doing, etc. And all of that is taking us further and further and further away from that state of flow, that state of creativity, that state of alignment, which is where the brilliance happens. So that's my message for you today. Get into flow, look at the creek and the trees and the streams, and see what nature shows us about how flow is the most natural thing to do. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you about is there is a 5-day workshop going on in the Align group, and that's where we're talking about how to use alignment to transform the experience of physical, mental, or emotional pain, and how with very specific processes you can take physical pain, like from really extreme, and I have used this with clients. Like, this is not just pulling this out of the air. I've got actual case studies of people where I have worked with their physical pain and transformed it using these processes. So we're going to be going through specific processes that are so powerful in allowing you to change your experience of pain to the point where it just shifts it entirely. And do you think that would be useful? Like, would that be a helpful thing to know how to, if you're in physical pain, like I've strained my neck, or, I've got, I don't know, I'm experiencing, I've hurt my back or something like that, or emotional pain, like, hello, welcome to the world, especially, emotional pain is kind of something that I think we all experience at different times. And mental pain, where the brain is just overworking and causing you stress because you don't know how to switch off from a certain topic. And so all of those are able to be transformed so that your experience is completely different. Not only transformed, but really quick. When these processes are in the moment, they're not something that has to be done for a week or a month. Like, it's in the moment. This is just, a couple of minute type of process that you can use and completely transform your experience. So that's what we're going to be playing around with in the group Align. If you like the sound of that, make sure you get along there. That's going to be starting today. Okay, it's been great to spend the time with you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy, and I will see you next time. Bye.